the receiving aircraft to put that probe in the middle of that basket, fly forward, so a switch...
5 of which can carry riders, and the best one, Yankee Lady, the award-winning pristine B-17, has other flight dates from its home base. The whole experience will last about 40 minutes, but that memory can actually take a ride in some of the other planes that they've seen in the show.
Ooh.
And even outside of today, there's other occasions where you can take a ride in some of these, and one of those...
One of the regular parts of Thunder over Michigan each year. Coming up after that, we're going to see these Yankee aircraft, Yankee Air Museum aircraft. The
west, another German column has come in, cutting off this poor American reconnaissance unit in his method of escape. He can't go off because of FAA rules. He can't use the runway to the west, and he certainly can't come through the general admission portion of the air show, so he is surrounded. Now that German tank to the left is called a Hetzer, and it's mounted on a Panzer 38T chassis built in Czechoslovakia, and it has no turret, has a forward-facing gun with limited traverse, 75mm cannon. It was a very robust vehicle, but very small inside with a crew of 4. The Germans came up with other countries a design to have an anti-tank gun mounted on an armored chassis. It gave it a lower profile, and it was faster and less expensive to manufacture than a full-size tank. Yeah, the M2 is now a casualty and been captured. And the Germans are advancing to secure the field. And I think the armored car must have called in some assistance. I see some advancing infantry to my right, off to the northeast. The Americans have a nice collection of vehicles here in addition to the Jeeps and the Deuce and a Halfs. They've got some M2 half-tracks, which are an armored car used for armored personnel carrier. This 251 that's in front of us has a crew of a driver and a radio operator, and it carries a full squad of 10 men. And it's rather small inside once you put 12 people inside of there. This is a vehicle's owned here in Michigan, as well as the German tank is from Clio, Michigan, fully restored with a family operation that restores military vehicles. It's a piece of art for us that they bring to the air show almost every year. Yet there is a counterattack off to our northeast by American, looks like airborne troops supported by Jeeps and a towed anti-tank gun. And off to the right, I see now also, I'm sorry, to your left, to the southwest is a larger American armored column with a 3-inch anti-tank gun being pulled by a prime mover and an M2, American M2 half-track with infantry support. in the middle, right in the front here, the prime mover just unlimbered a 3-inch anti-tank gun. The armored support allowed them to drive right through the infantry of the German lines. I think some of the Germans don't realize that they're being cut off and surrounded.
How's that for your ears, everybody? Alphonse, that is just deafening.
That's the loudest one we have here today.
And that's a 3-inch?
Yes, sir. 3-inch. That means 3 inches in diameter for the round going down range.
How far could it fire around?
Effectively about 1,500 meters, depending on its target.
So that's better than a mile.
Not quite a
Or
mile.
just a mile. Okay, got it. Just under a mile.
Depending on the target it's firing at.
He's pointing at this direction.
Well, he sees the German Hetzer, which is actually facing away. I don't even see crew in the Hetzer anymore. I think they might have been taken out as casualties at this close range, especially. Here comes another B-25, Rob.
The B-25 is that you see there was one of about 9,600 that were built by North American Aviation. As Alphonse and I were talking about, one of the most heavily field modified aircraft of the war. But it is best known for an air raid that took place just months after the Americans were brought into the war after Pearl Harbor, where 16 of those airplanes were actually loaded on an aircraft carrier.
And Rob, my understanding, they stripped them of every kind of bit of weight that they didn't even have machine guns on there because it was going to be a surprise attack and they didn't expect any Japanese air defense.
Exactly.
Right. Expect any Japanese air defense.
Exactly.
Right. And then the Japanese wondered where they came from, Roosevelt told him he had his secret base in Shangri-La, and they couldn't figure out what base that was.
And that's a new story for me. I like that. Point of fact, that they did exactly what Alphonse said, and that's they stripped it. They even, instead of having real machine guns sticking out the back and the tail and the top turret, they actually just had broomsticks painted black. They wanted to save all the weight possible because literally they were tasked with launching from an aircraft carrier in only 467 feet of deck space. 16 of them fly low and slow over the ocean till the time they reached Japan 400 miles later. They popped up.